Mark,
Hey,
what's going on?
looking at Lex Luthor with his BFG.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on with that?
It's huge.
We should, we should, we should talk about that. You know what? I think we will right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave us a note. Let us know how we're doing. And hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever we upload new content. No new absolute issues this past week. However, we did have Superman 23 actually last week, not this past week, but we had it last week. But just because there's no absolute issue does not mean that things are not still going on with the absolute universe.
This might be our last layover week for a while.
Yeah, because we'll get Batman and then Wonder Woman, and then we'll get Flash and Green Lantern, or Flash and then Martian Manhunter, and then Green Lantern.
Yeah,
So
kind of firing
I
off.
believe in that order. I believe so. But yeah, although again, because even though there's nothing going on, no absolute issue per se, this is very much.
Is there though?
This is just a reminder that we haven't forgotten about the absolute universe.
Yeah, it's actually the absolute universe is present in this book.
Right, exactly. We start, if you recall, let's go back to talk about where Superman is right now. Superman actually has been confronted by a time traveling future Doomsday, who is the time trapper now. And he had some bold predictions for Superman, and he asked him for some help, which Superman refused. Um, and then he's meeting actually a current Doomsday as well at the same time, and out of nowhere comes um, from the Doomsday miniseries comes
Hunter
the
Prey.
Radiant. Exactly, Hunter's Prey comes the Radiant, which is a group that is looking to kill Doomsday because of what he had done to their world and their universe.
Yeah, so it ends with didn't it end with them taking a shot at Jimmy, and that's where it picks up in this?
Correct. Right. Um, Time has stopped. The time trapper stops time because he's talking to Lois. He's trying, since he has been unsuccessful in recruiting Superman to his side, he now is talking to Lois to see if somehow he can recruit Lois to his side.
Yeah, he's attempting to talk them into helping him to save all of existence. Superman was reluctant, thinking, "Oh, we'll just stop Doomsday. We got this. I don't want anything to do with your plans." And now he's trying to talk Lois into them by persuading her at how bad the current situation is. You might as well take my help because look around you. You have this alien race invading Metropolis. You have Doomsday fighting everybody. Just things are bad. They're really bad. The super family attempting to hold their own against everything, and him promising that he can offer a solution if you only take my hand for help.
Right. Which she right away just smacks his hand away. Says,
Yeah, by punching him in the face.
Lois don't play that.
Yeah.
At which point, then the time trapper, Doomsday, or we want to call him, snaps his fingers to start time up again. And before you know it, the blast that was going to Jimmy now reaches Jimmy.
Yeah, Lois attempts to get there in time to save him, but she isn't able to.
Right. We then see the battle between Superman and the Radiant. It is getting so intense that Superman is becoming that red hot.
Yeah, he's redlining.
Exactly. That he's known for, and he then sees the time traveler again and says that he understands what's happening. He basically, screams at the Doomsday time traveler, "What have you done?" And that's exactly what seemed to be exactly what Doomsday wanted.
Yeah, it's like Superman losing control is like one step in the right direction to get him where Time Trapper wants him.
Right. Quick switch to Lex Luthor and Lena, who are investigating a way to try to help the situation. We flash back to an all-out fight with everyone. Lana Lang, Superwoman, Kara, you name it. They're all in the sky doing battle. It's just a battle between the entire Radiant group and all of the super family. Um,
It's
and
not going good at all.
it is
Doesn't Things look dire, and that's when help arrives.
exactly. That's when Lex Luthor arrives with
It's BFG.
BFG.
It's a big freaking gun right there.
Exactly.
Lex, who's recently had his memories restored. We we need to get Doomsday, Radiant, and his army into the sky and away from any civilians now. So
Right.
Lex is there to save the day, and the super family takes off into action. Lois quickly goes and yanks up Superman and disengages him from Time Trapper, and the Radiant sees everyone pulling away while he's attacking Doomsday, and then he kind of notices everyone pulling away.
Right. And blasts his BFG, blasts everyone that's in the sky. And what do you know? What the gun is designed to do is to basically
That's insane.
shrinks everybody down, puts them into one of Brainiac's bottles, and a Smiling Lex basically has the Radiant and Doomsday in a bottle, with time having been slowed as well. Because
And he points out these bottles can hold Kryptonians and Zarnians. They should be good in there, at least for now.
Right. Lois is afraid what happens if Doomsday dies, because every time he dies, he comes back even stronger than the last time. And that's when Lex says, time is slowed there. It'll be a long time before anything like that happens. We see Superman and Lois. Lois is apologizing. Clark is saying, you did what you needed to do. Everything is good. Don't worry about it. Quick flash to Jimmy in the hospital. And
he's
just
alive.
Exactly, he's alive.
Just barely.
Right. Floating outside, however, is Lois, looking dejected and obviously, very sad for her friend. And before you can know what's going on, the Silver Banshee arrives, basically screaming at Lois, saying, "This is your fault. Because of you, my boyfriend is now in the hospital, possibly dying."
Yeah, it's been a pretty Lois-centric issue, which not in a bad way whatsoever, but she's seeing like heavy as the head that wears the powers kind of issue.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about Silver Banshee and Jimmy dating. This seems weird from the start, but
yeah,
I don't know. She's just a villain to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, what happens when they're in the throes of, what? I mean, does she
that's dangerous.
Exactly.
Right back in the hospital, death.
Exactly. But Silver Banshee basically says, for lack of a better thing, that Lois now has her first arch enemy.
Yeah, just saying it. Like, yeah, we know you're a bad guy.
Right.
Why do we let you hang out with us? Doesn't make any sense. And now you're even telling us not only are you a bad guy, which you've been the whole time, now you're declaring that you're going to be my wife's arch nemesis. Like, no, you got to go to jail, homie. There's a lot of crimes you haven't served time on yet.
Exactly.
Get. Go now, get.
We flash to space where we find General Zod.
Time for some story building now.
Exactly. And for those of you who don't know, the powers that Lois have are basically General Zod's. That's where
due to the events of absolute power and Waller taking everyone's powers and all that stuff, Lois ended up with Zod's powers. Like, it was undetermined where powers went back in some situations. A lot of what's happening in the DCU right now is focused around reestablishing people's lost abilities and stuff. We see Aquaman has hydrokinesis. Well, Lois gained superpowers unbeknownst to her and Clark, but we the readers know that it's Zod's abilities that Lois absorbed.
Right. Zod's lackey is basically saying, you're depowered. Maybe if we throw you in front of a yellow sun for a while, maybe that'll work. And he basically strangles and says, I don't really actually need superpowers to take care of you.
He doesn't want anyone knowing that he's depowered, so he kills his, I guess, chief medical officer here just to keep it a secret that he's depowered, and he's clearly on his trek through the cosmos to go reclaim his abilities. So I'm expecting a great return of Zod to Earth in the coming issues.
Right. One more flashback to the end of time, the Doomsday Time Trapper, and he basically is calling Superman to him. He's saying he doesn't know what's at stake. And he calls him to him, but before he can actually show up, a crack of lightning shows up, and we are faced with the Legion of Superheroes. If you recall, at the end of both stories of DC's All In, Booster Gold was stuck in the Absolute Universe, and there was the Absolute Legion of Superheroes that was shown, and we basically see him saying, "You need to tell us all you know about Superman." This Legion of Superheroes says, and it says to basically come back in the summertime, because as we know, if you've been following DC, you know that this is the summer of Superman. Um, so it looks like they're setting up a huge fight again between Superman and the Legion of Superheroes, the Absolute Legion
Absolute. Yeah,
Legion
so
of
for those
Superheroes.
keeping score, the Absolute World was created in the DC All In special 6 months ago.
Mhm.
And then last month in the Lex Luthor special, Michael Holt and Lex Luthor worked together to establish the communication array to try to even access that world. And now, the very next month, that world has shown up.
Right. Yeah. So, if you thought that the absolute power was going to be the end of everything, that seems like it's just getting started still. So, but yeah,
DC's firing on all cylinders right now.
it really is. And one of the architects of doing the new DC is and is having a very huge impact on the DC universe now, and very connected to that is Aquaman, who is being written by Jeremy Adams
And
and
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern as well. And just an FYI, if you are around on Thursday night, March 20th, we will be doing a special primetime edition of DC Comics Deep Dive with Jeremy Adams at 8:30. He'll be with us for about 45 minutes or so. We'll have some giveaways that we're going to give away during the show as well. So don't miss it. DC Deep Dive with Jeremy Adams again next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday night at 8:30, right here on this channel. Don't miss it. So, but that's going to be it for this
That'll be his
edition.
third time here.
That'll be his third time here. First time he talked about the Flash. Last time he talked about Green Lantern. So
Now it'll be Green Lantern Corps, and Aquaman.
Correct. Yeah.
And signing exclusive with DC and what's to come.
Exactly. I can only imagine that he's going to be taking up more issues and more assignments from DC. So
yeah, he'll probably be writing Justice League War next.
Exactly, because he definitely is on the Jeff Johns plan. He started with Flash, moved to Green Lantern, then moved to Aquaman. Justice League has got to be next. So
when's he going to jump on JSA?
Exactly. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, that's who I was campaigning for from the jump. We got Jeff Lemire is doing a great job.
Mm-hmm. But again, so next Thursday, 8:30, right here. Don't miss it. Tell your friends, tell your family. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. As always, I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are Legion.
Subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, like. Bye.